Who has the right-of-way at intersections and when should I yield? Part 1. Where two or more roads cross, intersections are created. Drivers utilizing a crossroads must rely on right-of-way legislation to identify who goes first because this congeals opposing streams of traffic. To maintain traffic flowing in a safe and orderly manner, there may also be traffic control equipment like road signs or traffic lights present, depending on the type of intersection you are dealing with. Right-of-way traffic laws will be important in preserving order even on intersections with full control in these devices. Nowhere are drivers more vulnerable to danger than when they merge into a lane gap or cross a diverging stream of traffic. These two actions usually take place at crossroads. Drivers must be aware of right-of-way laws and develop correct judgment skills in order to choose a safe route through an intersection. Getting ready to use a crosswalk. When deciding who is right-of-way at a junction, drivers must take several things into account. Decide which lane you must be in to follow the path you want to take, then merge into it as soon as you can. After that, look at the road near the intersection to respond to the following queries. 1. Does the crossing have any traffic lights? If so, these will decide which streams of traffic can enter the intersection in what order. 2. Do any lanes have a designated use? If you need to make a turn, merge into a protected turn lane to reduce right-of-way problems. 3. Do you have a clear view of every entry and road leading to the intersection? If a barrier blocks oncoming traffic, you might incorrectly believe it is safe to proceed through the crossing. 4. How congested is the road? When approaching a crossroads, the most danger comes from the cars in front of you. Keep a safe following distance in case the cars in front of you have to stop or slow down at the intersection. Right-of-way at uncontrolled intersections. Drivers are solely guided by their understanding of right-of-way regulations when an intersection isn't controlled by traffic signals or road signs. The important guidelines to keep in mind when establishing right-of-way without assistance from traffic control equipment are discussed in the sections that follow. Keep in mind that nobody legally has right-of-way unless another car has ceded to them. Forcefully asserting your right-of-way because you believe the other vehicle should yield is illegal and goes against the purpose of right-of-way laws, which is to promote the safe and orderly flow of traffic. Allow another driver to have the right-of-way if they do so at a junction. It's first in, first out. Vehicles typically arrive at an intersection at various times. Since the first in, first out rule is in effect in these situations, it is simple to determine who must yield. The first vehicle to arrive at the intersection has priority, subsequent vehicles must surrender until the first vehicle has fully exited the intersection. Obey the right yield. When two or more cars approach an intersection simultaneously, who must yield is determined by the second crucial right-of-way rule. Drivers are required to provide the right-of-way to the car to their right when two cars arrive at the same moment. When multiple automobiles enter the intersection at once, it is possible to determine who will move forward first by making eye contact. If required, signal another motorist to proceed through the junction before you. If the route to your right is clear, yield to the right, does not mean you can just drive past the intersection. Keep in mind to be on the lookout for vehicles coming from the left and confirm that they will yield before moving forward. Right-of-way when making a left turn. When two cars are approaching a junction from different directions and one wants to proceed straight through while the other wants to make a left turn, the motorist making the left turn is required to yield. If there is no cross traffic, opposing traffic can typically pass through an intersection at the same time. However, in this scenario, the path of the motorist making a left turn would directly obstruct the path of the opposing driver. Any driver attempting to make a left turn at a crossroads, into a driveway, private road, or into an alley must yield to oncoming traffic. In general, vehicles turning at a junction should give way to vehicles passing through it directly. In fact, when there are traffic control systems, this may not always be the case. On single or two-lane roadways, the right-of-way. You must stop and yield to all traffic on the larger road before moving forward if you are on a one- or two-lane road that meets a bigger road with 3 lanes or more. This is due to the fact that the wider route is probably busier and more dangerous, making it more difficult for drivers on that road to surrender right-of-way. In T intersections, the right-of-way. The same rules apply to traffic at a T intersection approaching a through route from an ending road, it must yield. The through road that forms the top of the T is frequently a faster, busier road. Even if this isn't the case, it would be absurd and challenging for through traffic to stop for adjacent traffic. Roadway rights on unpaved surfaces. Where paved and unpaved roads join, drivers coming from the unpaved route must stop and let cars coming from the paved road pass.